Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me for Daily Spark with Dr. Angela. I'm your host, Dr. Angela Butchester. You guys know who I am, and you know what I like to do on my show. Say it with me. I want to enlighten, inspire, and empower you to become your best self. Now, Scripture reminds us that the tongue is a small thing that makes grand speeches, but a tiny spark can set a great forest on fire. And that's what we want to do today. We want to get you fired up about the topic. Today, we are talking about access is not entitlement. So you know what I'm going to tell you to do? Go out, get comfy, get cozy, get your coffee or get your tea, because we are about to get started. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me here on Daily Spark with Dr. Angela. We are talking about access is not entitlement today, and the key scripture is Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. One thing that we have to remember is that access is a privilege, not a right. Welcome back to Daily Spark with Dr. Angela, where leadership is talked about, it is refined, it is sharpened, it is lived out with intention, also through the lens of faith. Now, today I want you to kind of think of it as Thought Leadership Day. And that's kind of the point of view that I'll be sharing. And today's conversation is one that every leader, every visionary, and every woman in particular should be building upon. It should be something meaningful. It should be something that you want to hear. And that topic is access is not entitlement. Let's say that again so that it settles. The access that you have is not entitlement. It is not a right. It is something that you have earned. Just because someone knows you, it does not mean that they get to reach out to you at any time. Access is something that is earned. It is not entitlement. You have to earn your way into that place and the other through your hard work, through your diligence, through your wisdom and comprehension. So access to you and yourself, your brand, your team, your community is not something to be taken for granted. It is not something that everyone can easily get to. When you can easily get to something, unfortunately, it loses perceived value. Just because someone knows you, again, it does not mean that they can reach you at any time. Just because someone has worked with you, it does not mean that they have unlimited access to your energy. Just because someone supports you, it does not mean that they are entitled to your presence. When we look at that, that's when things start to get a little wonky. If you notice that those that allow someone to always have access to their presence, to always have access to their energy, to always have access to them at any time and or day of the day, it starts to get a little odd. Now, I know that many of you work in high capacity jobs and you say, well, listen, Dr. Angela, I'm making 6-7 figures. Of course, this person has access to me. Yes, they do. But there should always be a personal boundary. It's your wedding day. Should you have your phone tucked away in your dress somewhere because your boss might call? Absolutely not. Your loved one has passed away. Should you have your phone tucked away somewhere just in case your vice president calls because they just can't make it this day without you? Absolutely not. Now, there will be some people who do, but in general, we have to create boundaries for those times that matter most. And when we set those boundaries in place, usually people will accept them. Why? Because any other time you would be accessible. So they understand that this closed door is an important closed door. Let's look at our foundational scripture again. Proverbs 4, verse 23. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. The word guard means to protect intentionally. Your heart, your time, your energy, your presence. Those are not casual resources. They are assigned resources. So let's look at the cost of unfiltered access. Let's talk about what happens when access is not managed. When you don't set those boundaries, and people will assume availability. And over time, that looks like constant interruption, emotional exhaustion, being overextended in relationships and responsibilities, as well as feeling like you're always on, but never restored. Constant interruptions. That is a real kicker. Because with the constant interruptions, it's hard to find your center. It's hard to keep your train of thought. Constant interruptions can, in fact, derail a project because someone is coming in and giving you something else to think about, something else to do, something else you need to review, whatever it is. But that constant interruption is what does it for a lot of people. There's a difference between having office hours and having working hours. Let me say it this way. Many times during our working hours of 9 to 5, you will have office hours. Office hours is what gives you availability for those who might need that access. So if you work from 9 to 5, your working hours, your office hours may be from 1 to 3, so that you're giving other people access to you and they know that you will be available during said time. The other times of the day, you may not be available, and they are very much aware of that. Emotional exhaustion. You're exhausted because you have every person walking into your office, into your space, asking for a piece of you. Now, you may not see it that way, but every time you are addressing a question, you're making a correction, you are given direction, inspiration, instruction, all of that takes a toll on you during the day. Please do not be fooled. Just because you have an office job, it doesn't mean that you are not as exhausted at the end of the day as someone who has done a physical job. It's just emotional as opposed to physical. Your back may not hurt, but your brain is tired. All right. So the fact that you are overwhelmed and exhausted is taking a toll on you. And there are things that you can do about that. Being overextended in relationships and responsibilities. Being overextended in a relationship is just you're taking up far too much slack when the other person is just as qualified to do that. Now, it's a different thing if you've had a conversation with someone and they've asked you, hey, I am overwhelmed. I'm stressed. I just have too much on my plate. Can you please take 1, 2, and 3 off of my plate this week or this month or this quarter? That's different because they've asked you and you've agreed to do it. Then, okay, absolutely take care of it. But when you are simply biting off more than you can chew, when you are choosing to step up when you should have stayed put, you are doing this to yourself. That's what we need to look at, those things. We need to stop doing that We need to stop taking responsibility for the things that don't belong to us and make sure that we are not overextending ourselves in relationships. The other is feeling like you're always on, but never restored. And this is really important because if you're always on, if you are always the boss, if you are always the manager, if you are always the Olivia Pope of your group, the handler, the person who makes sure that everything goes as planned, then my goodness, when do you have a turn to be recharged, to be restored? Take off your white hat, my dear brother and sister, and have a seat. Relax for just a moment and breathe. There's no reason for you to constantly be on. That in itself is unhealthy, and I suggest that you find ways that you can turn yourself off. If off sounds scary to you, then you are the exact person who needs to learn how to turn yourself off. So let's split the difference and say at least turn yourself down. If you are operating at a 10, figure out how to operate sometimes at a 5 to give your nervous system a break. If you're already operating at a 5 and you're feeling overwhelmed, then you need to figure out, again, let's split the difference and see how you can operate at a 2 or a 3 on some days. Okay? And here's the deeper issue is that when everyone has access to you, you lose authority over your own space, over your own person. Because access without structure creates familiarity without respect. It creates expectation without permission. It creates presence without value. And for many high capacity operators such as yourself, this becomes the silent drain. This becomes the thing that is pulling at you and you're not even aware of it. You're showing up everywhere, but you're also not fully present anywhere, because where you are thinking about the next thing, because there is so much to do. So let me say something that might stretch you just a little. Overexposure will always dilute your impact. Overexposure will always dilute your impact. And you know who understands this best? Celebrities, especially musical artists. They understand that they can be on tour, they can be doing all these wonderful things, they're giving you new music, new expressions, they're doing interviews, and then before you know it, you blink and they're gone. And it's like, oh my goodness, when are we going to get some new music? I haven't seen them do an interview in years. You haven't seen them out and about in the city. And you crave something new, something more from them, because they understand now is the time to leave the crowd wanting more. And it works. Because next thing you know, right? It's been 2 years or 3 years. And for some artists, it's been maybe 5 or 6 years. And you're still asking, can we get more of you? And the moment that they do something, even if it's just drop a single, you're so excited because you've been craving more from them. Because overexposure will always dilute the impact. If everyone can reach you the same way, if everyone can see you at the same time, if everyone has the same level of access to you, my dear listener, then your presence stops feeling intentional and your leadership requires intentionality. Do not allow yourself to become diluted. Your impact is far too important. Alrighty, everyone, it is time for us to take a very short break, but when we get back, we will continue this conversation. We'll be back right after this.
everyone, Dr. Angela here. Did you know that Daily Spark is now on Facebook? That's right, you can visit with me at facebook.com/Daily Spark with Dr. Angela. I want to know more about what you're thinking. I'd love to know, which interview did you find the most entertaining or the most informative? I want to talk to you, and I want you to be able to talk to me. Simply visit facebook.com/Daily Spark with Dr. Angela.
And we are back. Thank you so much for joining me for Daily Spark with Dr. Angela. I'm your host, Dr. Angela Butchester. Let's jump back into our conversation. You know, there is a very important step here, and that is teaching people how to engage with you. Now, here's where your power starts to come back. People don't just respect boundaries. They respond to what you consistently allow. That's right. They respond to what you consistently allow. So if access has been too open, it's been too readily available, it's been too loose, it's been too draining, yes, you can reset it. And here's how. Number one, define your availability. You don't have to be reachable at all times to be effective. Remember, you have working hours and then you have office hours. Now, if you use that in the flip, that's fine. If you have working hours and your working hours are from 9 to 5, but your office hours are from 1 to 3, that's fine. Please don't let that be the thing that you get hooked up on. However you use that, what I'm saying is there is the larger amount of time that the doors of your brand are open, of your office are open. And then there is the time that you make yourself available to your team or to others to take phone calls, to answer email, all of that good stuff where people have access to you. That is the smaller amount of time. And that's what we're talking about here. Set that as a clear expectation. Your office hours, your working hours, your response times, and your communication channels. Clarity removes the confusion that many people step into. So you've heard folks have these conversations about, the first thing that I have learned to do that helps make for a better day is as soon as you sit down at your desk is that you are not going through your emails. You're sipping your coffee, you're sipping your tea, whatever it is. But the first thing you do is not jump right into those emails and start answering away. That there's a process that you've decided that you're going to go through. And that is you're going to set the intention for the day. What do I want to accomplish? What do I need to do today? How will I go about doing those things? What team members do I need to reach out to? Who do I need to network with? Those types of things. First and foremost. And then you jump into your email. That is a portion of this having access to you. People forget that email is communication. It is a digital phone call, if you will. Hey, what are you doing? We need this. Could you send over? Did you talk to this person? Where are we with this thing, right? It doesn't matter where you are in the hierarchy. People are emailing you. People are calling you. People want access to you. And we need to be very mindful and aware of how we go about that so that you can protect yourself as well. Number 2 is separate access levels. Everyone should not have the same access level to you. Now, I know for someone they're going to say, ugh, that sounds a little bougie or that's a little off-putting. Then you are the person who is probably giving too much access away and you are feeling drained. This is not to say that you are better than someone else. Absolutely not. Because guess what? God is no respecter of persons. So because of that, we are all equal in His sight. We all carry a different function. We all might do a different thing in a different industry, but we have to be mindful of our physical and spiritual energy while we are here on the earth. So the various levels that come to mind initially is that you have your inner circle conversations, you have your professional interactions, you have your public engagements. And you may be saying, well, what about your personal connections? That's your inner circle. So your inner circle, let me say it this way, your personal inner circle conversations, your professional interactions, and your public engagement. Now, you will also have an inner circle within your professional interactions, right? So you may have some groups, organizations, associations, brands that you may deal with a lot more often, a lot more frequently than others. And within those brands, associations, organizations, and associations, you will find that there are certain team members that you're just going to get along with better than others. Those people are going to start to become a part of your inner circle of your professional interactions. Now, with your public engagements, you're going to find that if you are a supporter of a particular, let's say, annual cause awareness or event, that within that, you're going to find that you really prefer to work with this person or this group over that group, and you're going to start leaning towards them. Of course, you're going to create an inner circle within your public engagements as well. And that's just normal because people are drawn to certain types of people. It doesn't mean that you have to stop doing the other thing. It just means that when those people that you find that you really work quite easily with, when they call upon you, then you're probably going to want to do the things that they're asking you to step up to do quite easily. And even in that, make sure that that is not being used and abused. If you can allow yourself to work with an organization, association, or cause 2 or 3 times a year, then do that. But if it's only once a year is all you can give, then make sure that you're saying this. You know what? I can only work with you guys once a year, and I look forward to your annual whatever the gala is or whatever the event is, and let them know, please put me down for this every year. This is what I love to do with you because this is a great cause. They will appreciate you saying that because that is a little bit less work for their teams to have to deal with as well. Now, another thing that we need to look at is number 3, and that is protect your energy, not just your time. Time management is good, but guess what? Energy management is leadership. Pay attention to what's draining you, what's depleting you, where you find your misalignments, and adjust accordingly. And number 4 is normalize your no without explanation. I cannot say that loud enough. You don't need a long story to honor your boundaries. No, that doesn't work for me. But thank you so much for asking. I'm not available for that right now. I appreciate your asking. That's all you have to say. That's it. That's it. I know for so many people, when you just go, nope, can't do that, that sounds so incredibly rude. So you can give context if you absolutely have to. No, that doesn't work for me during the spring. If you have a fall event, count me in. If that helps you feel better, then say that. Then you can put a boundary on your answer, because it helps clarify for them that that season is off, but the other season is available. But you're having to explain or make up a reason. No, you don't have to do that, and don't feel bad. The wonderful thing about event planners is that they hear no often enough that they don't take it personal. They know that it's just a part of the job. I'm sorry, I can't do that this year. Perhaps next year. Alrighty, Dr. Angela, thanks so much. We'll check back with you next year. Click. They're on to the next person because they're trying to find the yes. So don't feel bad about the no, because they are not taking it personally. So let's make one thing clear. Boundaries don't push people away. They position people correctly. Boundaries don't push people away. They position people correctly. And that is what you want to make sure that you are doing. So let me leave you with this final leadership charge today. Guard what is valuable. When you are in a place where you are starting to decide who you want to be, where you want to go, and what's important to you, stop giving access like it's unlimited. Stop treating your presence like it's common. Stop allowing proximity without alignment. You are not difficult for having boundaries. You are disciplined. You are not distant for protecting your space. You are discerning. You are not wrong for deciding who gets access to you. You are leading. So with that, I want you to keep this thought in mind as we start to close out the various things that we are doing in this time of the year. I want you to be able to process it in a way that is not only best for your brand, your association, your organization, but also for yourself. Everyone can't have access, and everyone shouldn't. Protect what God has entrusted to you. And because how people engage with you is important, it is something that you must teach them, that you must show them how to be the best that they can be with you so that you can be your best for them. So until the next time we are in this space, I want to encourage you to lead with clarity, to protect your space, and to remember that access is a privilege. It is not a right. Thank you, everyone, for joining me here today. I hope that I have once again enlightened, inspired, and empowered you. You could have been anywhere and you chose to spend it with me today. I thank you for doing so. As always, may the Lord continue to shine his face upon you. May you receive his grace and his mercy in all that you do. Until next time, everyone, remember that you are blessed in the Lord. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.